Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, the double honors to the elders and apostles, and the men in the truth on down, regarding this truth of knowledge, so we can know this truth of knowledge. With the Wadi Ba'ashem Yeshua putting the spirit of the elders and apostles and the men in the truth on down, regarding this truth of knowledge, learn this truth of knowledge so we can know this truth of knowledge. Call Halayayim, Yabashim Yashah, Bashim Rakakadash, give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash. I want to do some scriptures related to patience. Patience, very important word regarding walking this path. It's truth. Go to Romans 12 and 12. Rejoicing in hope, patience in tribulation. Go through the trials and tribulations, patience. Rejoicing in hope, that's that faith, believing. Continue instant in prayer, man. So the prayer, the hope, faith, and believing, man. And most of all, patience. Romans 8 and 25. But if we hope for that we see not, go at Hebrews 11 and 1. Faith is the hope of the things that's hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen, man. The scripture talks, that's like Hebrews 11:1, 11 and 6, few verses down, talking about without faith it's difficult to please it, for he must believe that he is rewarder of those who diligently seek him, paraphrasing. So faith is the things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen is unseen, man. But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it, man. So these are the things that's unseen, you know. But through patience, we wait for those things. I'm going to look up the word for patience in a few minutes. Galatians 6 and 9. And let us not be weary, tired, in well-doing. Well-doing is pretty much continuing on, having patience. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So that patience and enduring. I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes 2 and 1 too. You know what I mean? So it's continuing on. You know, pushing forward to the best of your abilities, man. 37 and 7 through 9. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. So the operative word is patience, man. And that patience goes to tolerance, endurance, even suffering, man. Fret not thyself because of him who prosper in his way. And that's the wicked, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass, man. And no wicked devices relates to stratagem, ploys, or schemes, man. Cease from anger, forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, man. So cease from doing anything that's contrary to what you're supposed to be doing, in a matter of speaking. For the evildoer shall be cut off. And scripture talks about envy not the evildoer, man. That's in Proverbs. For the evildoer shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For the scripture talks about the earth is for the righteous sake. It was created for the righteous sake, man, from the beginning. So scripture talk about, I believe, 2nd Esdras 9, inquire not how the ungodly are going to be punished, but inquire how the righteous are going to be saved, man. Paraphrasing. That's I believe around 2nd Esdras 9, 13, 14, around that area. Let's go to Philippians 4 and 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication. For prayer, Scripture talks about prayer without ceasing, man. I believe that's in 1 Thessalonians 5:22. Prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your request be made known unto the Lord. And how is your request to be made known? Your requests are made to be known through prayer, man. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, the thoughts of peace. And that's he's talking about towards Israel, man. Because he wants peace towards Israel, but not all Israel is going to get peace, man. And not evil, to give you an expected end. And the end that the Lord really wants is peace. Peace for Israel, man. But unfortunately, 2/3 their expected end is going to be, they have to know about death by pain, man. Now that ultimate peace leads to peace and salvation, everlasting life, man. Go to Ecclesiastes 7:9. Be not hasty in the spirit to be angry. So don't be hasty or rash to be angry, man. For anger resteth in the bosom of fools, man, which is the wicked, man. Ephesians 4 and Ephesians 4:2, with all lowliness and meekness, and that goes to humility, man. With long suffering, which goes to patience, forbearing one another in love, man. It's patience. 1 Corinthians 13:4. Charity suffereth long and is kind, and charity envieth not. Charity envy not. Charity in the alms covers pretty much a multitude of sins. Charity vaunteth not itself and is not puffed up. So it's with humility, it's genuineness, man. You know what I mean? So charity, long suffering, gentleness, patience, kindness. James 1:19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. So be swift to hear, be quick to hear, be slow to speak, and slow to wrath, man. Be slow to get angry, be slow to speak. Do more hearing and listening than talking, man. Have pretty much 2 ears and 1 mouth, man. You have 2 ears because you do more hearing than you do speaking, man. Go to 1 Peter 2:19 through 23. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully, man. So pretty much enduring, suffering, and patient wrongfully, man. Taking losses. It's not always easy, you know what I mean? But sometimes you have to suffer wrongfully for righteous sake, man. That's what that scripture is saying. Enduring goes to what? Goes to patience, man. Tolerating, enduring. For what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently. But when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently. This is acceptable. So this pretty much enduring wrongfully, taking it patiently, taking it on the chin in a matter of speaking. That's acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yashad. Like I said, it's not always easy and don't feel good, because everybody goes through their different things relating to bearing their cross, the burdens of that. They don't always feel that way, you know what I mean? Some have it more a lighter Some have it more heavier than others. Some have it more moderate than others. Some have it more lighter than others. It depends on the vessel and depends on what is given to you, man, as far as to bear, as far as your cross and the burdens that come with that. But, but if you can endure it, it's acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, man. For even hereunto ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that he should follow his steps. Because Yahweh Shai suffered, and he set the example, so ones who come in that manner had to, on a lower minuscule level, had to, set the example for their walk, man. Who did not sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Who, when he was reviled not again. And when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. Because really, the Lord was there to do his purpose, man. So he had to take it, he had to bear it out and endure it, man. Because he was coming in the spirit of fulfilling his Father's will, man. So he had to take what came with it, man. Romans 5:4, and patience and experience and hope. Patience, that's the operative word, patience. I'm going to get that definition. Isaiah 40:31, but they that wait upon the Lord, and that wait goes to patience, shall renew their strength. Pretty much being upgraded, man. First of all, Corinthians 15, the new bodies, man, Lord willing. They shall mount up with the wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, man. So they're going to be tireless, man. They're not going to be tired, man. And they shall walk and not faint, man. So pretty much a new, revitalized, refurbished body, man. Proverbs 15:18. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger, a piece of strife, man. So that's that control. Read that again. A wrathful man stirreth up strife. So an angry man, but he that is slow to anger, a piece of strife, man. So that's that self-control, man. And through that, patience is equivalent. Patience is a part of that component. Go to Ecclesiastes 7:8. Better in the end. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning. Why is it better in the end? Because it's almost over. And the patient in the spirit is better than the proud, which is haughty in spirit. So it's about patience. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 2:1. Before I go there, I want to look up this definition of patience. Patience implies suffering. Operative word, enduring, waiting. That's a determination of will and not simply under necessity. So that's what that is. The three operative words: suffering, enduring, waiting, and another one, tolerance, man. Tolerating a lot of things. Forbearance. That's another one, man. Self-restraint, self-control, especially dealing with a lot of diversity of elements of opposition, man. All right, quality. What does patience mean in the KJV Bible? The quality and virtue of patience is presented as either forbearance or endurance. In the former sense, it is a quality of self-restraint or not giving way to anger, even in the face of provocation, being provoked. Pretty much showing that control. Is it easy? Sometimes it's not always easy, man. For some people it might be easier than others, man. But that's why it's a process for that individual vessel to try to do it to the best of their abilities. Everybody has a different spirit. Everybody's not the same. Everybody has a different, everybody's diversity. Lord's diversified as far as the vessel, and the creation of a vessel and what's in that vessel, man. So everybody's different, but they have to work to the best of their abilities regarding, for example, this, man. It is attributed to both God and man, and is closely related to mercy and compassion. Go to Luke 21:19. In patience possess ye your souls, man. So patience, man. That can determine your salvation, man. You know me as well, man. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that desolation thereof is nigh. And then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Go to Sirach 2 chapter. I'm going to read Sirach 2. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptations. So we have to prepare thy soul for temptation, trials and tribulations, patiently deal with those things. You know, that's part of that preparation, preparing for it, preparing to be patient to endure those things as well, man. Set thy heart right and constantly endure. Endure means pretty much suffering, waiting, patience, man. And make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end, pretty much at the end, man. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, it's important, take cheerfully. So that goes to that patience, man. Suffering for different things, man. Taking it cheerfully. Being humbled, man. That's the humbling process, man. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. That's being brought down low, man. That's being brought down low, being abased, being ashamed, even being embarrassed, being humbled, which goes to humility, man. That's that process, and patiently enduring these elements of these things you have to deal with, man. That's a very important one, man. Because at that time, an individual, when he's going through that, he's not. It's probably one of the last things he's thinking about like that, because he's thinking about he wants to get out. He wants to get this situation, over with. But it's or to alleviate that situation that individual's going through. So the point is, he had to take it patiently. The scripture says, man, suffer patiently wrongfully, even for righteous sake, man. So let's continue on. For gold is tried in the fire and acceptable in the men in the furnace of adversity, man. So that gold is tried, man. So those impurities, those scums, the purity, the scums, which are the sins, and these things that are the impurities, man. The sins, for example, the impurities, the scums, different things that's trying to get out of you, so the pureness can come through, man. Read that again. The gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Acceptable men, man. So what's acceptable after they going through those trials and tribulations, man. 2/3 part will be cut off in the land, and 1/3 part will be left therein, and they'll go through the trials of adversity. So that goes to their physical and spiritual trials and tribulations, man. Being tried, being tested, being purified, man. And being purified, being clean, makes acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yashab, man. So that's what that is. I'll read it all though. I'll read it through all though. Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercies, patience, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward shall not fail. Your reward is ultimately salvation, everlasting life. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, hope for the best. The Lord expects has an expected end for you. Jeremiah 29:11, end for everlasting joy and mercy. So the Lord was ultimately peace for you as an expected end, man. And look at the generations of old and see that any trust in the Lord that was confounded. And did any abide in his fear, that was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy and long suffering. So the Lord, that's the characteristics of Yahweh Bashim Yashah, long suffering, patient. Because the Lord and Yahweh Bashim Yashah, they have to endure suffering. For example, suffer seeing the wicked in position of power. But they bound to their oath, man. The Lord's bound to the oath. He's bound by his word, man. He would love to demolish this place quickly, man. But it's a waiting process. So if he has to suffer and wait with his son, how much more a man on earth has to, man. Where I was at? Yeah, and for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, very pitiful in forgiving sins, and saith in time of affliction, woe be to the fearful heart and the faint hands and the sinner that goeth two ways. A double-minded man is unstable in his ways. James 1:8. And that goes to that minds, man. Woe to him that is faint-hearted and believeth not. Lack of faith, therefore he shall not be defended. So that be not defended. So a hedge of protection will not be over him. Woe to you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Because you ain't going to have that hedge of protection, man. You lost patience, man. Patience is the very operative word, man. They fear the Lord. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, that they love him and shall be filled with the law. So they're going to do, what's pleasing to Yahweh Shem Yashah to the ability they can, man. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts, which is their minds, and humble their souls in his sight. Humility, being humbled, saying, we will fall into the hands of the living Lord and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercies, man. So, end of the day is about, patience. Patience is that operative word, man. During the straight gate, Let me get a scripture real quick. Let me get these two right here. This will be the last ones. (7 and 13 and 14). Ye that enter the straight gate, a position of difficulty, pretty much a very narrow path, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. It's easy. It's convenient, but the end of it is not going to be beneficial for the majority. And many there be which go thereat, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way. And they're going to go through the wide gate because they don't want to go through that straight gate, man. There's too much difficulty, man. You know, Jake's a creature of comfort, man. He don't want to go through adversity. You know, he's a creature of comfort. Jake, he has a very chill spirit, man. He's a, go-lucky spirit, man. So he likes to, he's a creature of comfort, so he's going to find any form of comfort he can, in any way he can, man. But he don't understand that this is a place to reflect, to analyze, to self-examine, and to self-evaluate his situation. It's a point of reflection, man, because it's Micah 2:10, for this is not a place of rest, man, for it is polluted, defiled, corrupted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. You know what I mean? So Jake's going to go through the easy way. He's going to go through the wide gate because he ain't patient enough to endure and suffer, man. So he'll go through the easier way. But the outcome of it is not going to be to his benefit, man. I'm going to read it from the top. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth to life, and few that be that find it. So very few gonna go to that gate, man, because of the difficulty it is and the elements you have to deal with in going through that gate, man. So they're gonna go the easier path, man, which is the wide gate, but they don't know at the end is destruction for them, man. So because you have to endure, you have to suffer, you have to do certain things, man. You have to make conversions and change in this process, man. And that equals uncomfortability for the most part for Jake, man. He's not comfortable to do that. Jake is not comfortable to change, at least in the way that he needs to, man. You know what I mean? So he's gonna go other directions. That's why you have Jake going in diversity of roads, which means he goes all kinds of paths to find forms of comfort in different things, but it's not to his benefit, man. Anyway, this was a few scriptures relating to patience, because it's about enduring, trying to endure, man. So the straight gate is the narrow path, the difficult path, but it leads to life. And the wide gate leads to destruction ultimately. It's easier, and most are going to go through that because it's easier path. But the end fall of it is not to the masses' interest, man. And that being said, I hope this helped. This is brother. This is Zayah, which means wolf. I hope it helps in some way. We give all praise Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Shalom. Thanks.